Jesus Christ. Well, you're saying gunslinging pyroman. Nah, this is just hunters. They'll keep the shotgun shells, even a 22. You know, even a box of 22 caliber going off. Firefighters don't want to be around that. They fucking die. So they probably had to back off a little bit, and this is if you do happen to have guns and ammunition, store them in a fireproof container. Otherwise, if your house catches on fire, the firefighters won't be able to save it because they won't go the fuck near it because they don't want to die. They've got those fireproof suits. They'll go in, they'll run in, they'll save your ass. But those fireproof suits aren't ballistically protected either. They're not bulletproof. So, yeah. And they carry.
And if you make it bulletproof, they're way too heavy.
Yeah, and they carry big tanks of oxygen on their back, and you don't shoot a big tank of oxygen because those explode.
Yeah, especially not when a fire is going on.
Yeah. Keep your ammo in a fireproof container, otherwise your house will burn down, and they know save. Damn, Jesus Christ. That sucks for Christmas, man. That's yeah, Christmas, and that's another thing. Be careful with your damn Christmas trees, especially, well, even live one or a fake one. You're running a lot of electricity through that fucking. Be careful. And if you're still using those old style bulbs, light bulbs, switch those out. Get LEDs. They're just as bright. They do the same thing. If you got your Christmas decorations for next year, I know you probably already have them up right now. They're cheap. They don't put out as much heat. They use much less power, so they're better on your electric bill. Swap out your old strings of lights for LEDs because they're much less of a fire hazard, for one thing.
Prepare to be scared. We are using old-style bulbs and actual burning candles.
What is wrong with you?
I'm saying the same thing every year.
Don't use real fire on the tree. This is not the Middle Ages. We have electricity for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Don't use fire. Your house will burn. Don't do that. What's wrong with you?
Well, we only have it on if we are around it. Otherwise, they're off.
It doesn't matter. It's fire on a tree. You know why those things don't combine, right?
Yes.
Why
I know.
are you doing this? Why?
This is my eternal battle.
Why are you using real candles on the tree?
And we live in a house which is made of wood and clay.
Why are you doing this?
Because my parents say it looks nice.
What? That's it looks nice. So let's burn the goddamn house. Motherfucker.
Yeah, I know.
You're hurting me, man. That's not cool.
Hurting me too.
I gotta tell. Hey, Jason, did you hear what happened?
Yeah,
I don't know if you can hear us yet. Jason,
Hey, I'm back.
did you hear what happened?
No, what happened?
Jo.'s in Kentucky for Christmas. She's with her parents.
Huh?
The house next door burned to the fucking ground.
What? Is she okay?
Oh, she's fine. The neighbors are fine.
Okay.
But the reason it caught fire, but the reason it burned to the ground, they didn't keep their ammunition in fireproof containers. Firefighters couldn't go near it.
You got to do that.
Yep. Firefighters couldn't go near it because the house was shooting at. Oh God, the fire was shooting at them.
That's just what you need. You need fire firing at you.
The fire was armed. It was defending itself. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. Well, everyone's alive and okay though, right?
Yeah, all of her neighbors got out safely, and her family's fine. Everybody's fine. It's just
bad situation.
Gun safety is not just because liberals have their nuts in a twist, people. It's situations like this.
I got no problem. Again, I've got no problem with gun safety. I have absolutely don't even have a problem with the concept of gun control. A lot of people have a problem with that. As long as you don't impede my ability to get licensed and get a firearm, I'm happy with it.
Yes.
Listen, the way I read the Second Amendment is this. It says for the functionality of a well-armed militia. If you are going to act like a well-armed militia, then it is my interpretation that you should take the responsibility of a well-armed militia. That's all.
Yeah, this is just get a box. They're not expensive.
Fireproof ammunition box.
Right. Get a box. Put your bullets in there.
Dude, here's the thing. All of the pro-gun people I know, like my cousin Joe in Oregon, he's hugely pro-gun because you know what? He owns a farm in the middle of the fucking woods. You know why he's pro-gun? Because he's got to protect himself. Because there are wild animals there. But he's so pro-gun, but at the same time, he's like, yeah, you got to be responsible with it. I mean, you can't be a dumb asshole. You know.
Well, I wouldn't call him a dumb asshole. It's just you don't think about it. And you need to.
Yeah. But they don't think about it. They just treat it like a little toy. You can't do that. It's designed to kill, and so you should give it the respect that it deserves. That's all I think.
These are not toys. They're not... You don't collect these things like comic books or action figures. These are tools and weapons, and you have to treat them with respect.
That's what happens when you don't treat a tool with respect. What happens when you don't treat a chainsaw with respect? You're going to lose a fucking limb.
Something. Yes. I still hate those fuckers who juggle chainsaws. You seen that? I'm going to juggle the chains. What the fuck are you doing? Don't do that.
There's no room for error there.
Here's the best example. Dude, here's a good example of what it means to be a good gun owner. Back on the 4th of July, Joe out in Oregon had a barbecue. And everybody out there that he knows, they're all from the local farms, so they all have guns. They're all armed to the fucking teeth because they deal with coyotes and wild animals all the time, so they got to protect their livestock. You know what they did out there? They shot their weapons. And you know how they shot their weapons? They had a firing range there, and they were all responsible about it, but they had a great time. And then, when you're done with the gun, you don't treat it like it's a fucking toy. You put it away. You don't point it at anyone. You make sure it's, it's not loaded, and then, you go eat a fucking burger. But no, people will just it's a little thing. Don't worry about it.
Then you have those stupid people who are like, well, I'm not going to do this stuff because it's just a conspiracy. Liberals want to take my guns. I will do whatever I want with I don't need no gun lock. I don't need no fireproof box. It's just, my gun, my America. No, it's not about pissing you off. It's you have a dangerous item. You can use it responsibly, but it's dangerous. And you have to take precautions and you have to respect it. You can't just leave it lying around.
Dude, these are the same people who take the safeties off of chainsaws. Like, are you kidding me?
just use... Oh, okay. We have a question on Mumble we can use.
Yeah, in fact, we're going to open up the second hour here right now.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's get off the gun shit. Let's get back to that. Sorry.
Alrighty.
But while we're getting into how we do it, we want to talk. Mark and I were talking. We're pretty sure the reason their house burned down was the Christmas tree. We might want to quickly address how to be safe with your Christmas tree.
Welcome back. All right, well, you guys ready?
Ready.
All right, well, then this will officially be the start of the second hour of the How to Do It Marathon. And Nash, J.O. had a little interesting experience for Christmas, didn't she?
Yes. She woke up. She's in Kentucky with her parents this morning, and she woke up, neighbor's house had burned to the ground. And firefighters couldn't go near it because they had ammunition, no fireproof box, and that's another thing entirely. But the reason, and Mark and I were talking about it, the reason most fires start around this time of year is the Christmas tree.
Oh, Christmas tree, how dry are your branches?
That's the first thing. Keep the tree watered properly. It's not just to keep it looking nice, it's to make it harder to burn.
The other thing is to make sure you use fire-safe lights.
Yeah, in this day and age, LED lights, not only do they work just fine, not only are they easier on your electric bill, they don't run as hot. They are much less of a fire hazard, and they're cheap as hell. You can get a string of big old... I did it yesterday. I went to Walmart. I got a string of big old lights, $5-6, LEDs, very, very bright. They look good. You have no reason whatsoever to still be using incandescent bulbs on a Christmas tree.
And the the other tip: make sure you properly test and secure your plugs in your outlets.
Right, because even with LED bulbs, you still have to make sure the cords are safe. There are no gaps. There are no overloads, because an overload, even with LEDs, if you plug in too much shit into one outlet, boom! So. Also,
just a little example here. In A Christmas Story, that's the perennial, the forever popular Christmas movie. There's a scene in it where the father plugs in the lamp, the lamp leg, and I don't know if you recall this particular scene. It happens just for a moment. But you'll notice all of the extensions plugged into the outlet, and then he plugs the lamp in, and there's a spark, and the lights dim, and then he unplugs and it comes back out. But during that moment, there's a little nice special effect that happens that kind of outlines how dangerous this is. There is fire that crawls up his wall, and this actually happens if you cause too much of a spark to happen here. And there's maybe just a little bit of a curtain hanging there, or a dry Christmas tree. You are going to cause a flame to climb up your house and eat you alive.
Yep.
Don't plug in too many extension cords into an outlet, please.
And while we're talking Christmas movies, if you have pets, has anyone seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
Who hasn't?
Do you remember Fluffy?
I remember Fluffy for all the laughs it gave me.
Yeah. For those of you who haven't seen the movie, why haven't you? But there's a cat. And kitties, and sometimes dogs, like things they can play with. And Kitty chewed on the wires, and Kitty was extra crispy. Keep an eye on your pets, and keep wires and stuff where they can't get at them.
Now, in real life, Fluffy doesn't get extra crispy. In real life, Fluffy gets a bad shock and runs away, but during the process of that bad shock, creates a spark. Spark can create fire. Fire can create bad Christmas.
Right, and even if your animal just gets a quick spark and runs away and the animal's fine, they've still created a hole in that wire, and that's immediately a fire hazard if the insulation is torn. So keep an eye on your pets, keep them away from the lights. I know it's like, I don't want to have to corral my pet. Well, too bad. If you want a Christmas tree, you got to do this shit responsibly, unless you don't mind your house burning down, in which case, have a nice Christmas.
Unless, of course, you know your pet's not going to chew on Christmas lights.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's go to the next question. Oark asks us, hi, Lord Cat Nash and Mark. Lately, I've been having problems with my flash drive. It's a SanDisk Ultra 16 gigabyte. When I try to use it with either of my computers, it refuses to work. Sometimes it'll say that it is completely empty, and sometimes it won't even recognize that it's connected. If it is hopelessly broken, would there be any way to get the files off of it? Thank you for any help. Now, he made an edit to this post. He says, it started working on my laptop, but still not my main computer.
Yep, save everything from it now.
Mm-hmm.
Do it now.
Do it now because your flash drive, the controller on the flash drive has failed. Or is failing, or is about to completely fail, and you're going to be shit out of luck very momentarily.
Yeah, something is dying.
Yes.
Yeah, those things are... The great thing about flash drives is they're cheap. The bad thing about flash drives is they're cheap. Which means they don't have the best components. We're getting to the point where we have disposable electronics, and flash drives kind of fall into that category because they're very cheap and easy to produce. But cheap and easy to produce means they're not the most reliable.
Means they're shit.
They're not the most rugged things out there.
I do have to say, I have to recommend. I have a SanDisk here. It is it's the Cruiser 16 gigabyte, not the Ultra 16 gigabyte, and I ended up paying a bit more money for this one. It's this, but I've been really happy with it because it outlasted the Ultra 16 gigabyte by about a good year now. So I highly recommend the Glide series. You're going to spend more money for it though.
Go ahead.
The only thing I would say though is that there's really no such thing as a high-end flash drive, so. No. You kind of shit out of luck. I mean, you're going to be replacing these things left and right. Also, when you do replace these things and it finally dies and it's useless to you, please properly recycle it.
Flash drives are kind of like the new floppy disks, and they're regarded about as disposably, honestly.
And that's about the same error rate.
And
the technology is like you're going very hard, very close to the limit with flash drives of what is even physically possible.
Yeah. So, and another thing, that's another reason why you should not rely on flash drives as backups. They're good for temporary storage, but they're not your backup devices. Your backup devices are hard drives. Your backup devices are burning it to CD, DVD, or tape. Don't rely on a flash drive as your only backup because you will be made sad.
Even with CDs and DVDs, you need to reburn those like every at least 5 years.
You could also, I also recommend instead of not just having local backups because you need that. There are a couple of online backups that I use that I don't use anymore, but I would recommend. One of them is Mozy, mozy.com. They start at about $14 a month for their plans. The other one that I've used is Barracuda Backups, and they are decidedly more expensive. They're made for businesses, but they are very, very good. And encrypted with 256-bit AES encryption at all points, so it is pretty secure. They will, however, I will let you know, Barracuda will, when subpoenaed by the government, will cough up the data. Letting you know that.
Unless you encrypted yourself.
Unless you encrypted on top of their encryption. But I'm just going to let you know because they are a business, so their primary goal is to stay in business. And if the government decides to subpoena you because you're a pedo, well, fuck you. I'm letting you know, just to be fair, just to be honest. But definitely, I've used them in business areas before, and they have been great. Carbonite's another one. They advertise on TV all the time. I don't really like them all that much. It requires that you use the Carbonite software to upload constantly from your machine, and guess what? It only supports Mac and Windows. No Linux compatibility. That sucks. Symantec is another one. I do not recommend Symantec. I hate working with Symantec. And their software... My problem with Symantec is that their software is insane. And I'm not even talking about the consumer end. I'm talking about the Symantec remote backup, the backup executive. The software it's out of its fucking mind because it does this every 30 seconds. It checks to make sure your serial key is valid with the remote authentication servers.
God damn it.
Every 30 seconds. If it goes down, you're locked out of your backups. And on top of that, sometimes it'll lock you out of your own computer because it's so screwed up.
Wasn't Symantec the one that after years and years they finally revealed? Oh yeah, we've got this big security flaw. And all this executive stuff. Yeah.
Don't go with Symantec. They're a terrible company. Absolutely terrible.
Only because Anonymous kind of forced them to. Or like we have it.
Yeah. Anonymous is like, we have your source code, and they're like, it's our source code. Sorry.
Sort of Destiny and Mumble has a quick question for us.
He does. Unfortunately, he can't be here at the moment, but he asks, why must one use a high Z input to record a guitar instead of line in?
Impedance.
What is
impedance? I'm gonna have to get a definition of this one.
Well, actually, microphones and guitars, they don't produce power, like, even a tiny bit. They produce, like,
a milliwatt, you know.
amount of power.
Yeah, it's
a line in has 5 volts.
Right. It's a matter of high impedance and low impedance. It would take a long time to get into and explain this, and I don't entirely understand it myself. But consumer devices are considered much less needing to be precise, exact, the greatest of sound quality. They're just designed to work. So they use low impedance, and that's how they work. Guitars, professional grade microphones, mixers, most rack components are high impedance devices. They're also designed to run with a whole lot more power going through them for large wattage, for PA devices, for that sort of thing. So they have a lot more power going through them, so that's why low impedance devices don't use as much power. So you try and put high impedance, low impedance, and everything's like, blarga blarga. Normally you need some sort of transformer, and they make these. They're not hard to get, or you can use a mixing board, and mixing boards can output to low impedance. But basically it's the difference between a 100-watt amplifier at a outdoor concert, or 2,000-watt amps for a PA system, and the little 5-amp speakers you have on your desktop. That gives you an idea just in your head of what the difference is.
And that is just difference in impedance. Like line in is powered.
Right.
The device that sends the music sends the power with it.
So yeah, you need.
That's why you can connect headphones to it.
We also asked, I've got a Samson C01U USB studio condenser mic. Other than routing it through the output of my sound card, is there any way to plug it into my analog mixer? Though I really doubt it. There's a USB to a quarter or USB to XLR. No, there isn't. We talked about this before. USB sound devices, like USB headphones and USB microphones, are not strictly microphones or headphones. What they also are sound cards. They're little USB sound cards with dedicated purposes in them. So when you get like a Blue Snowball USB microphone, or one of those headphones that's got a microphone built into it, you are actually have a sound card built in there too, which is what that's what the device is wired to, and that's what transfers to the computer. Normally, unless you have specific microphones, like, for example, the Blue Yeti microphone, normally their only output is wired into that USB sound card that's built into the device. So 9 times, there is no way, barring tearing it open and figuring out where the positive and negative and the outputs on the on that sound card are. Barring that, there really is no way to do it. You're stuck going through the computer, because that's what they're designed for. They're designed to be cheap, easy, quick. No having to think, no having to plug in a dozen different connectors. You just plug in your mic and you're done. That's why it's set up that way. I would recommend, if you need one that needs to do both, Blue Yeti. The same people who make the Blue Snowball. It's a little more expensive. I think it's in the $75 to $100 range for the Yeti. But it does do both. And if you need that kind of flexibility, that's what you're going to have to go with.
And if you want, extreme high-end pro, you go with the Heil PR40. And
hey, dude.
And then question yourself for years to come. Oh, man. Let's move on to the next question here from Blockhead. I'm having strange issues with my microphone, and I'm not sure if this goes to the microphone on my headset or my sound card acting up. Whenever the microphone is plugged in, I keep getting a pop-up message from my audio manager that the device is plugged in, unplugged, and when I try to access the microphone and headphones in the audio manager, both the speaker and the microphone keeps disappearing and reappearing. I'm not able to make any extensive adjustments. I'm having no problems with it while using Skype, but when I try using Mumble and adjusting the sound settings, the microphone disappears and won't register any sound. The problem with the audio manager only occurs when the microphone is plugged in.
Okay. He says sound card. I'm assuming he's got a standard 1/8 jack going into. And he says the sound card, the microphone disappears and won't register any sound. Okay.
That is definitely a driver issue.
Yeah, that's not
with the sound card.
Yeah, that's not a loose microphone connection because normally most sound cards don't. Well, no, I say that, and I'm thinking I take that back. Real audio, Realtek audio, not real audio, Realtek audio cards do recognize when something's plugged in.
Yep.
So, if it's a Realtek and it understands, might.
Those Realtek, they fail often.
Yeah.
True. I'm just saying.
There's a setting. If you have the Realtek, there's a Realtek audio manager, and you can. Well, at least in the version I had, you could disable it, which I did after a day.
Yeah, that would be your first troubleshooting. Disable that, and if it's a short in your microphone, you'll find out real quickly. Just disable the if it's a Realtek, disable the audio input detection.
Or there's maybe a setting to force it to a specific thing or something like this.
Right. There's a little gold speaker icon in your taskbar tray. That's the Realtek HD Audio Manager. That's what you go into. Find the setting to disable the the detection when you plug things in. That way you'll be able to determine if your sound card's acting up or if you have a loose connection on your microphone. And that
might just be the driver though.
It might be the driver, but this is troubleshooting. We're disabling. We're getting things out of the way that could be the problem. That's the most obvious one, a short in the microphone. That's the first thing to look for. If that's not it, then yeah, you do have a driver problem. What's a good way to correct that? New drivers?
Nah, just disabling usually is the first thing to correct it.
Yeah.
Disable what? The driver?
The automatic detection.
Okay.
Because I guess that's what's screwing up here.
You think it's the automatic detection?
Yep.
Yeah, the problem with the audio manager only occurs when the microphone is plugged in. Yeah, exactly. It sounds like it.
Sorry about that.
He's got another using microphone with the headset, the sounds of the computer stream or game audio, for example, are registered. How does fix?
So what's happening again?
Apparently, he says the microphone with the headset, the computer sounds are registering on the micro. I'm not entirely sure what he means here.
I have that problem with Mumble too. I think he's talking about it with Mumble, and if I use the same sound card for both the headphone and the microphone, Mumble will pick up the sounds from the system.
Jason, do you have something right in front of your camera, or right real close to your camera? Because you've gotten blurry.
I'm better. Had to wave at it. It got lonely. Wanted attention.
Camera. I love you, camera.
Hello.
There you go. No, now you're fuzzy.
Oh, the autofocus is going insane because of the light here. Hang on, let me go fix this. But
I would love for those stupid cameras to disable autofocus.
I can disable it, but not by default. And oh, look at that, the exposure went back to stupid.
It's like an eye test. Which is better, number 1, number 2?
Oh god, they're both equally terrible. Let me get the white balance back to unfucked. Oh god, now I'm on fire. Well, that's not better, is it? Well, now I live on the sun. That's great. And now I live underwater.
Yeah, the one before it was better. And now it's nighttime.
There we go. Now I look healthy.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, now it's daytime. Lord Cat controls the sun.
You know why those stupid audio detection things exist that screw up almost everything? Because people can't figure out to put the green plug into the green hole.
Isn't that hilarious? It's now and it's kind of useful sometimes, but it's kind of not. Realtek Audio, you can plug in anything into any hole.
Yes.
On the audio setup, and there's like 6 plugs back there because now it's like 5.1 audio surround sound. You can plug in your microphone into like your side rear channel. It doesn't care. It's like, oh, this is a microphone. We're gonna use this jack now. It doesn't fucking care. Because people cannot match blue to blue, green to green, red to red.